All right, I think we are live. Yeah, we are live. Welcome to Bouncing Deathquark cast. I am CoDameron. I am here with Kiramode, and this game is going to be great. I'm going to give a little bit of introduction to this game, and then I'm going to pass it over to Daniel, because this game is with him. Look, he's up there in the corner. This is top 8 at Denver, and Kiramode really killed at this tournament. He did a really good job and got all the way here, and when this happened, I actually streamed this live. So you'll see me, like, I'm setting up the stream. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to do a really hectic stream, and we watch this game. But I'm not going to spoil it. We both know what happened. Kiramode definitely knows what happened in this game. But he has a lot to say about this game. Kiramode, take me through this game.
All right. So there's a little bit of history prior to this game. So the names are not updated yet there. So Daniel should be on the left, and then Joel should be on the right.
Right.
Now, Joel in particular, he was easily my toughest opponent in Swiss. He was the first person I played. And in Swiss, I had a different deck. So we don't need to run through what my deck was exactly, but basically super hard control. Everything's on the board. And the thing that's scary about that deck is it doesn't have a lot of removal. So it's great against racing decks that don't really interact with the board, really bad against fighting decks. And so my thought was, I really just don't want to play against board wipes, and I definitely don't want to play against Brobnar, right? And so I get Joel round 1, and he's playing a 9 Brobnar creature list. On top of that, he also has a Rise in Disc, and his Disc creature lineup's like 7 or something. So I'm looking at that, and I'm like, this is going to be really hard for me to win because he can win the board control battle. So I have a couple outs, right? The biggest things that I have, one is if he gets a little too greedy on Amber, I can always stop him on Amber. I also have Be Gone. So if I time it right, I can blow up his disc board. I have a Deep Probe, which is going to have to hit in the game. And I have Control Weak. So my goal in that game was I just had to somehow weather the storm. And the game starts pretty bad for me. He plays a bunch of Brobnar creatures. He then gets all the disc creatures, and he is doing really, really well in the game. Now, there were a couple turning points that really helped me. One, I picked up the Be Gone.
I pulled up.
Oh, okay.
This is a Thrall that melts copper. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're talking about
this deck's all about Amber control, right? You got the triple grabber jammers, you got the double doorsteps, you got the Lash, double charrette with an Arise.
Oh yeah.
So I picked up the Be Gone, and I just sat on it for like way longer than I would otherwise sit on it, even when he had 3 disc creatures. And the reason was, I was like, I need to wait for him to get to like 5 disc creatures.
And that's your only tool for the board control.
Yeah, so here's what ends up happening. Joel gets a little too greedy on the reaps, right? There were some opportunities he had with his Brobnar board to continue pressing his board advantage, and he's like, I have a good enough board advantage, I'm just going to reap. Mm-hmm. And that was a mistake, right? Because it got him like a second key, but I didn't care about the keys. Like, all I care is about my board. And so that little bit of leeway was pretty huge for me to enable me to rebuild my board. And then on top of that, I had one pretty lucky play where he plays a Rise, he picks up Brobnar, right? And so he gets like a couple Brobnar guys back. And I immediately hit him with a Deep Probe. So like my turn was like, I drew like 3 or 4 cards, picked up a Deep Probe, he plays a Rise, I come right back with the Deep Probe. And then after the Arise, then it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll rebuild my disc board. And he already had 3 dudes, so he plays like 3 more dudes, reaps a couple times, and then I hit him with Be Gone. Wow. And then at that point, the board is not back in my favor. And he's in a good racing position at this point. He has like 2 keys and 3 Amber. And he starts thinking, okay, well, I've lost the board, but I can push on Amber.
Right.
And that's when the rest of the deck does its thing. It's like, oh, crap, where did these grabber jammers come from? Where did that charrette come from? Why are these doorsteps here?
Where's all my Amber?
Like, yeah, and I went from being down like, more than a key to coming back and winning the game.
This was back in round 1, right?
This was round 1. Like that was a case of I was really bad matchup against a good opponent, and I had to outplay him, and I had to get lucky to win that match, and I barely pulled it out too.
Right.
Like what ultimately ended up winning me the match was before I reshuffled my deck, I played Control a week on an Untamed turn he had, and all he was able to do was reap. So I time walked him on Untamed.
Nice.
And then after we reshuffled, because I built my board back up, So when I shuffled my deck, I only had probably like maybe 20 cards in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was like 2 or 3 turns into it, I re-picked up a Control of the Week, and I was able to time walk him again into Untamed. Good. So I was able to time it perfectly both times. It was just like one of those things where I was like, I don't want to play this guy again. This is not the dude I want to play against.
So you went like 4-2 in the tournament with the concede, right? So you lost only one game, like technically, kind of. But then did he lose a game?
No. So after that game, he sweeps.
Right.
So he kills everybody, ends up 5-1. Then in the cut is killing everybody too. And so before this match, we were actually we happened to be in the hallway just shooting the shit, and we're like talking about whatever, and we're going over what decks were like. We showed each other our decks before we even played the match.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get on your case about not looking at his list. Okay, noted.
So we both knew what we were on, and we were because like he was probably one of the people I was talking to the most throughout the tournament because we kept checking in on each other.
This is his list.
But we both were like, yeah, I don't want to play this guy. Like this is, and then we find out top 8 they were both late. like they call us over the speaker because we missed the boat, and then we get there and we like exchange decks.
At least you were both late.
Yeah. So then we get to this game, right? So the first game we had, super big control game, right? I'm playing heavy Amber control. He's playing heavy board control, and I pull that one out by the skin of my teeth. So now we're on these other decks, and I look at his deck.
This is his deck up here.
This is his deck he's playing in the cut. And this is pretty terrifying. It is not hard at all to see how he goes 5-1 or 5-0 after he plays me, and then is smoking people in the top cut.
If I could just make a mention, I see bait and too much to protect. With the Fagin Urchins, I see this is a crazy shadows list, a Moon Cursor. I see doorstep, double terms of address, and there's a Screech Bomb in here, there's a Valder in here, Loot the Bodies. There are a lot of really good cards in here, and I can see how this Brobnar Sanctum can go 1 and 2, and actually Shadows doesn't mind reaping a bunch either with all these urchins.
So here's how his deck works in a nutshell, is that he is racing, like a very clear racing deck. Now the difference between his racing deck and a lot of other racing decks, most racing decks don't have a lot of Amber control. His has a doorstep, a too much to protect, and a bait. On top of that, he has 4 urchins, and he has a Fagin, and he has a Magda.
Yep.
Right.
And a Moon Cursor. Like this is. Yeah. And
then he also has Flame Fist. So it's just like one of those things where it's really hard to get up high on Amber and not get punished for it. And then he also has pretty good removal too.
Every house punishes you for getting high on Amber.
Yeah, the terms of redress is good too. And then so if you look at his removal, it's not like the most removal, but it's enough removal. He has a punch, he has a tremor.
How do they come?
He has a couple big creatures in Brobnar and Sanctum, so it's like you can play the creatures, they sit there, and then when you need to just kill something. He has a Silent Dagger, which you can use every now and again.
Yep.
Worst of all, the 2x Glorious View. So he doesn't have creatures in here, not really. So the only time he's going to have creatures is after a big Shadows turn. For the most part, he's not going to have many creatures, so he's going to be able to rip those. And he told me, like, in the lead up that he had a lot of games where he was able to double Glorious View. So, yeah, the main thing that I was looking at with this match is I'm like,
honestly,
what I need to do.
My analysis of this deck was, I think, a little off. I think I was looking at the Amber control, and I looked at it as a slow deck. But now that I'm actually re-looking at it as a quick deck, also I was just wrong about the Sanctum list. There's only 3 bodies in Sanctum. That was my bad. No, this deck can actually go pretty quick. The Banner of Battle makes me feel like the Glorious View would hit less strong. But in the Urchins, but like that Shadows.
You just don't have a lot of creatures, right? Like you're gonna hold on to your Shadow stuff, and you'll use like Glorious View when you have like 2 guys on the board that they're 7 or something.
Yep. Okay.
And then like the following turn. So now my game plan against this deck.
Let me pull up your deck. Here's your deck. Wildly Rapid Swish.
Yeah. So my thought here is I need to not get blown out by Glorious View because I can build a board on his deck. His deck does not have any hard board wipes. So basically, my Sanctum list in particular, if I can find those guys early, play them, we're good. I also, Nature's Call, I like to sometimes use it for Flaxias and Dust Pixies to get crazy value, especially when you factor in Hunting Witch also. In this game, that is worthless. Like, you do not want to be using that in this game because he has 3 different cards that punish you really hard for that.
4 with low mana.
Instead, you want to be using the Nature's Calls to bounce his dudes. But in particular, if I could just get the Sanctum guys, kill off his board, Mass Reap, and then I just need to not get blown out by Glorious View. That was like the card where I'm like, every part of this plan makes sense because I can work around the urchins, right? I can pretty much
work around both the urchins and the big steals.
Sort of. So the game plan against it is, as long as like I had to build my board first, and then I just basically reap up to like 7 or 8. He'll urchin me a couple times. He'll magnate me a couple times. Like, he'll keep me off the keys. As long as he doesn't get like crazy value off of it, it's fine because I could take it back, right? I can Sequus him back. I can Frankus him back. I can Tavros back. Like, I have ways to just regain that value. And if we do that 3 times in a row, I'm going to win the attrition battle. What I can't let happen is a situation where I have 10 creatures to his 2. He plays Glorious Few a couple times. And now if I just don't have my too much to protect on my doorstep, I lose.
Okay.
So.
Okay, you have a game plan going in. Can I hit play?
Yep.
Also, let's just talk about it. That mat looks great on stream.
Yep. I went with the darker one because I felt like the darker one looks better on camera. The light one I think actually looks a little bit better in person. But on camera, the darker one, like, you see the white part pops. You see our logo there.
Yeah.
Before the thing, there was questions as to whether you had to use the Vault Tour mats, and I was like, if they don't tell me I'm not able to use it, I'm not going to do it.
Okay, so we're already in game 1. Turn 1 Hunting Witch. What's that about? Yeah, you get punched.
So I didn't love the play. I think it was like my only Untamed card, as best I can remember. And I didn't care about it. Like, if he killed it, it's like, whatever. I think I had like multiple Shadows bodies that I wanted to play the following turn.
Right. Okay.
As best I can remember.
Okay. One thing I noticed that you guys are actually playing cards very quickly this game. You guys both know how to play. Yeah. You played 2 Shadows cards. This seems like a slow start for you.
Yeah.
And the Banner of Battle is I think a strong response. Oh no. Okay, you.
Well, also
you had a bunch of Shadows cards. Okay.
Me and Joel, we didn't explicitly agree to it, but we said it's going to be more of a casual game because we'd been chatting the entire time. So it's like, if you miss something here or there, who cares? Like, let's just get this thing moving.
That's nice of you. What's up with the Speed Sigil? What's up with the Speed Sigil on the other side of the deck there?
I'm not going to win this game racing, right?
Okay.
So my thought here is he benefits from Speed Sigil a whole lot more than I do. I have better Speed Sigil targets, but in general, like, my game plan is I need to build the board. And so I don't want him getting free Amber every turn.
Okay. That's a good answer.
And so, like, I was like, yeah, I don't want that card out here. Like, because if I play it there, he just like reaps immediately. And now he starts picking up more and more Amber. All right, so this turn here, I remember when I had it, I was very scared to play it. For the simple reason of his first turn is Brobnar, right? His second turn is Sanctum, which means he probably has Shadows in his hand, which means he could have a Too Much to Protect or a Bait. But I just drew my hand, and I'm like, I got a Regrowth for the Hunting Witch.
Right.
I have a Flaxia. I have 2 other Untamed cards.
No, you play your hand.
Get it, right?
That's what your hand says. You got to play it.
Yeah, there's nothing else. And then so he plays the Flame Fist, and I just like breathe like the biggest sigh of relief because I was like, man, if he plays like the Bait here, that sucks.
Yeah. He chose Brobnar. That's the best case scenario.
Well, because I know with Brobnar, he only has 1 Amber control. Right? Like, so I did look at his list, and I'm like, okay, Sanctum and Shadows have like the bulk of the Amber control. Because like Shadows has a bunch of it, but also Sanctum has 2 terms of redress and also a doorstep. But like the Brobnar only has a Flame Fist, and he played the other one.
So you dodge a bullet there at 8 Amber. But he gets his Screech Bomb down, which is, I think, a very strong play. But he chooses to fight your Witch of the Eye, not your Hunting Witch. And I think that's because you already had a strong main house Untamed board, and you could have Witch of the Eye to get back the Regrowth, to get back the Hunting Witch anyway.
I think the scary part for him there is that if he kills the Hunting Witch, I can just reap with the Witch of the Eye and get the Hunting Witch back. I would personally kill the Hunting Witch, but I get it.
Daniel, can I comment on the chat for a second? Yeah. Do you always tap to 45 degrees?
Not always, but a lot of times, yeah.
Is it a quick game thing? Is it a?
I don't know. I think I just don't care enough, like to full tap.
Yeah. No. It looks like
oftentimes I won't even tap.
Okay.
Like,
so
I'll usually just get cards.
So back in the game, you're going Untamed again because you draw a Dust Pixie and you say, "Oh, Grasping Vines." That's a big turn.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like one of those things where I felt like the gods were testing my resolve in this one.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that like it's like, will you let greed consume you in this case?
I'm running back this turn because you do a lot of things this turn.
Okay. So basically, I had my big Untamed turn. I don't know if you want to pause it here. So I have a big Untamed turn.
I'm running it back, but yeah.
I redraw my hand, and it's like Dust Pixie and a Nature's Call.
And a Grasping Vines.
And I'm like, and I'm like, I guess I gotta play Untamed again. So you play the Hunting Witch, that gets you 3,
mm-hmm.
right? Or the Dust Pixie, I can reap 3 more times, so that I immediately can get to 6. And it's like, okay, Grasping Vines can get me to 7. And now I have a Nature's Call too. And I can play the Nature's Call for both Dust Pixie and Flaxia, and just immediately gain 6 amber off of that.
Right. You could. Okay, this is what you're talking about. You could play it for your guys to get 6 more amber. Wow. I don't know how to pause it or slow it down without putting this in the way, but it's fine. So you have a Nature's Call. You're going to reap 3 because that's what you do. You haven't even chosen to reap with the Snufflegator yet because you are so afraid of the bait, the doorstep, and the too much to protect. Right?
Yeah, my thought is, so if I play the Nature's Call here, and like say bounce one of his guys, like probably bounce like the Frankus,
mm-hmm.
and then bounce my 2 Untamed guys, replay them, get 6 extra amber. That's a really strong turn unless he plays too much to protect. And he hasn't called Shadows yet.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of looking like that could go really bad. Like if his turn, like if I reap up to like 13 and he goes too much to protect, steal 7, 2 urchins, steal 2 extra. Now I'm at like double digit amber,
mm-hmm.
and you're at like 4. And I at this point
then the game's even again.
A doorstep. Yeah, I was like, I can't have that happen. That's what I was like. The gods are saying, let's see if you'll be greedy. And I was like, I cannot be greedy here.
And honestly, your logic, like whether or not it is the right play, your logic makes sense to call it the right play, right? Fine with me. So you take the Snufflegator, you reap here too because you're counting how much over you are. You're at 8 because 8's a safe number.
Yeah, my thought is like 7 or 8's where I want to be, right? Because that's where it's like if I get baited, he can't forge a key immediately without playing other cards, and I can still threaten to make a key.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I'm able to clear off his board. I let him keep the Flame Fist, right? I don't want that guy getting me played, but the other 3 guys I don't care about, and I still get to 8. Like it's still an obscenely powerful turn.
It's turn 4 or something. Like it's
like so usually in games when I like every now and again with this deck, and part of the reason I played it is it can have these Untamed turns that are just absolute bananas.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have a bait or they don't have like a doorstep or something, that's where you can wreck. But I mean, as you see, like he plays a doorstep. So if I would have gone for the big amber play, it completely burns me. Because also he can't kill the Hunting Witch now either because he doesn't have a board.
Right. So you're gonna get Hunting Witch value again. Whew. How many Nature's Calls do you have in here?
2.
Gross. This is not okay. I mean, it's okay, but your deck is going off hard on the Untamed
Although
side.
killing the Witch of the Eye was good for him there, though.
Right.
Because if he would have killed the Hunting Witch instead, Witch of the Eye, get the Nature's Call back.
No, you get regrowth. No. You get regrowth for Hunting Witch alternatively.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you take a turn to go Sanctum here. And
here I'm just like trying to push the lead, right? You get 2 amber off of the dudes, get another amber off the card. I don't believe I get to... Oh, no, I get to 6.
You're at 6. Terms of Redress is going to get you to 7.
Yeah, and it's like, just put him in check again. I'm kind of trying to get his... Like, I already got the doorstep out of the way. So there's only 2 more cards left that can really burn me.
And he hasn't said Shadows yet at all.
No, so I just keep waiting for the shadows turn. If you look at his hand, he actually doesn't have shadows because I bounced the Brobner artifacts back.
Right.
So that's kind of clogging up his hand.
And the Brobner
But
dude,
you still
the
have to be
troll.
aware of it.
But like he's also holding
It's
the
like
troll.
so he's holding at least 3 Brobner cards. Like, so his turn when he played the Sanctum turn, he just didn't draw cards.
Look at you.
But you
I'm
still
gonna
have to
go
figure that the cards that are coming are going to be
you inspiration to Snufflegator to 7 instead of to 8. And I don't even think, is that a Dusk Runner on the Carlo Phantom?
Yeah, so in the moment, Joel offered a take back here that I chose not to take. So what I needed to do was I needed to inspire the
Carlo.
what's it called? The Carlo, get the Reap plus the Steal, then play Terms of Redress.
Then capture.
To capture 1. Instead, what I did is I already played the Terms of Redress, so I inspired the Snufflegator to hit Frankus for 3.
Okay. And now he could kill Frankus again with another hit. And look, you stole a key at 6. So you're up 2 keys and he has no amber. I remember when I was watching this, I'm like, how is this happening? You are going so much faster than him. He has no amber. He has 2, it's on your guys. But wow.
Yeah, it's like being able to duck the bait twice there was really fortunate, or the too much to protect. Like, he only had the doorstep and he didn't have the doorstep on a profitable turn. Because normally when you doorstep, you want to doorstep and kill guys at your Sanctum turn,
right? Not
like doorstep and then play 2 chuds and pass, which is what he did.
I mean, you put all of those cards back in his hand. Every one of those cards that he just played, he had played them previously. Ooh, Nature's Call. So you're at 6. And you're gonna leave him with his Lomir. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and so this time I do pick up the Dust Pixie. I figure I'm probably gonna get hit by something, but it's late enough in the game that it doesn't matter. I actually just want as much amber on the table as possible.
You need to have him in check every turn for he's gonna be in check every turn of the rest of the game. He's never gonna get to play Brobner again. I think I remember this turn.
He finally gets a Shadow's turn here.
I think he also pops his Screech Bomb here, which I am a fan of because you have to play it at some point.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't want to get next or you just need to start popping his amber. I mean,
well, I don't have a bait, so there's no reason for me to have amber necessarily.
Right. Yeah, just take away as much amber as possible. And with the Magda, you're still at 3 amber. And your board is huge. Like, his Shadow's turn came down, he stole a bunch of amber, he did amber plays, but he didn't actually address his board state, which is what his deck is trying to do. He's trying to steal amber, not have a board, and play Glorious View.
Yeah. And there is a play mistake here that we just ignore because we're like, this is dumb. Why are we still playing this? He has a Banner of Battle.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I basically use Long Fuse Mines. His one guy had 2 damage. It's like, okay, kills him, Needle to kill the other one.
Oberlet doesn't even kill Fagin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after I basically finished my turn, that's when I noticed that it's there because neither one of us noticed. So rules wise, we actually have to go back. I think we have to go back to the point where I used Long Fuse.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because that's still a legal turn.
Right.
Right. So I think I still have to declare Long Fuse Mines. But then the Secret Needle does not have to get declared, and neither does any of the other actions. Obulet, obviously, I can't use on Fagin.
But
he's like, are you gonna get the? He's like, are you gonna get the 6? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, whatever.
You're already at 30. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So crazy game. You went so
kind of
fast.
a bad way for Joel to go out. Because I really feel like his deck let him down on that one. Him not being able to find his key Shadows cards to bring me down because that draw that I had was not what I wanted against his deck. I don't want to race his deck. I want to get my Sanctum and Shadows board built and grind that game out. I just happened to draw all of my Untamed stuff, and he happened to not get any of his stuff except for the 1 doorstep.
Right.
So he did get that.
And he had the Lomir.
I mean, kind of the wrong time.
But a lot of that is because you kept putting things in his hand. He had to play the Troll 3 times. All of his Sanctum guys, he had to play a bunch. He had to play all of his artifacts again. That's no accident. You clogged up his hand. He couldn't draw.
Yeah, and that's what he said at the end. He's like, man, the artifacts killed me. He said that the play that was the most devastating wasn't necessarily the nature's calls. He says it was really the grasping bias to shove 2 artifacts back in his hand, because then he's like, I was going to play Sanctum, and now I have 2 less cards that I draw for artifacts I don't even care if I play.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, wow. Good game. So you're going to be in the top 4, and you're on the next one too. I live streamed that one. The next game is not as quick. I think we're just going. Do you want to roll right into it, or do you want to? Let's
just roll right into it.
Okay.
Can you pull up the deck that I was up against though?
Is it this one?
This one's
I have it. It's up here. But I have to let me.
I forget.
Let me close the stream and then pop it back up, just so I can have it cut.
Easy.
All right. This has been the top 8 with Kiramode. Congratulations. We're going to top 4. I'll be back in like 1 second.